years ago, we decided to take a road trip across the Great Ocean Drive in Australia. I was chosen to be the driver because I was considered the safest amongst all of us. So safe that while going towards the highway from our parking lot, my entire focus was on all the cars coming towards us, and I completely missed the ditch right in front of the car. And at the speed of just over 10 kilometers per hour, my car took a nosedive straight into the gutter. Before our trip could start, it had ended. At a 60-degree incline, sitting inside the car, there was sheer panic. We were all unhurt, but the car certainly wasn't. 200 kilometers away from the nearest city, in the middle of nowhere, in a foreign land, we had no idea how to fix this car in under 48 hours because that's when we had to leave to go back to our country. We started to make frantic phone calls, and in the most desi jugadu way, found a desi mechanic who was willing to take up this job at such short notice. His name was Diamond Paji. Diamond Paji takes one look at the car and tells us everything that's wrong with it and all that cannot be fixed in under 48 hours. He says, "Oh, the bonnet's completely damaged. It has to be replaced entirely. The alignment of the car is completely off the whack. That's got to be fixed. The paint is so severely damaged, to do the color match itself is going to be a mammoth task." My heart sank. Not only could we lose the deposit on the car, but we could also miss our flight back home. What followed were the most unnerving 2 days of my life. Cut to 48 hours later, the car was beautifully fixed, not so much as a scratch in sight, in mint condition just as we rented it. I gave Diamond Paji a tight hug. That was perhaps the happiest moment of the entire trip. But this incident made me feel maybe I should retrospect my own interactions with patients when I first see them in the emergency ward. Am I being their Diamond Paji? Do I explain their situation to them starting from the worst possible outcome? Oh, multiple bones are broken. The joint alignment is completely off the whack. The skin isn't looking too good either. It's got wounds and blisters. Not sure how it will approximate. Wow, that really hit me. I grew up in a house full of doctors. My parents were the epitome of compassionate and empathetic behavior. I remember growing up, we had random guests at our place who stayed weeks on end because they had come to receive treatment with my father. My parents always went out of their way to do everything in their stride to make them feel comfortable. But somehow over the years, I had lost touch with this side of my personality, and I wasn't happy about that. So I intentionally started working towards my counseling skills, and I realized the most powerful doctors aren't the ones who dominate the room. They steady it. When patients come in emergency wards, they don't remember every stitch you placed on them. They remember how you made them feel in the moment their world was crashing. And I think best doctors across the globe are the ones who are quickest to build a bond with their patients. Now, hospital is a place riddled with emotions. No one comes there willingly. Unless, of course, they want to get a cosmetic procedure done, then that's a separate kind of emotion altogether. But as healthcare workers, it's imperative that we are aware of these emotions at all times. Do these emotions and do these soft skills come naturally to everyone? I don't think so. But can they be cultivated? Yes. So let's look at each one of them. Empathy. Empathy can be overwhelming if you let it go unregulated. Empathy can consume you if you get too emotionally involved. Okay? Think of empathy in a simpler term. You can just be kind to one another. Like in a relationship, after you've resolved a fight with your partner, you might say to them, "Oh, it's not what you said that hurt me, it's how you said it." Right there was lack of empathy. Empathy will always change the outcome of any conversation, any interaction. It is not always quantifiable, but it's certainly palpable. Next, compassion. Compassion isn't feeling sorry for someone. It's recognizing suffering and doing something to reduce just that. Don't think, oh, if they needed my help, they would have asked for it themselves. Think of it like helping a stray animal. You don't wait for a voiceless puppy or a kitten to tell you that they are in distress. You sense it and you help. Similarly, a person who's in distress may not necessarily ask you for help. A compassionate person asks themselves, what can I do to ease this moment for this troubled soul even a little bit? Care. What's care? Care is compassion that stays, that lingers. In my field of work, it can mean something simple as explaining the same thing over and over again without irritation. This is especially true in care for elderly patients, in care for specially abled people. And care can also mean you checking in after the crisis has passed. Keep your promises. If you promise something, follow through on that. And last, you can just say, I will be here if you need me. Kindness. Kindness is really underestimated in medicine. Kindness can mean a lot of things. In our field, it can mean kindness in our gestures. How we touch an injured limb is also important. Now, we live in a world of rage baiting with unkind trolls and comments online for the ones who put themselves out there. It's imperative that we are kind online as well. On a geopolitical level, kindness can ease difficult conversations. It can reduce conflict, and it can even have hard truths be accepted. Without kindness, even expertise can feel cold. Kindness has a ripple effect. The world always mirrors what you project. Respect. When something life-altering happens, a person feels like they've lost all control. Giving respect and dignity gives some of that control back. Simple things like nursing care, keeping the patients well-groomed, keeping the surroundings of the patient neat and tidy, and making sure that you ask for permission before examining or approaching the patient. That simple respect can restore dignity when the body feels broken. Presence. This is relevant more than ever before. We live in a world of online dating. Imagine sitting across your date in a restaurant, just looking at your phone. Perhaps you're scouting for more options online. No, I'm kidding. But what I mean to say is, the quality of your attention matters. Put away your phone when you're listening to someone. Don't multitask while having a serious conversation. And that's why presence is important. Containment. In moments of fear, patients borrow our nervous system. Imagine you're in a flight and there's turbulence. You look to see at the cabin crew. If they seem calm, you feel calm. Same happens in casualty. The patients and their relatives are looking at our response. If we act anxious, they panic. If we are calm, they breathe easy. Hope. Hope in medicine isn't false optimism. It's clarity, it's honesty, it's direction. We see a lot of patients with axonal injuries who come into our centers for neurorehabilitation. A lot of these are very, very young patients, 20, 23-year-olds, mostly who've forgotten to wear their helmets. They're completely paralyzed. I see their mothers by their bedside every single day in a hope that someday she will see some improvement. It's baffling to see, but even a twitch in a muscle gives them hope and makes their day. Moral witnessing. In cases that I just talked about, sometimes there's no reassurance that can help. Sometimes just saying, this shouldn't have happened to you. This is unfair. Or, this will change your life forever, but it doesn't end your worth. That kind of moral witnessing is just as reassuring. None of this appears in our textbooks, but somehow it changes how recovery unfolds, how pain is perceived. Medicine doesn't always work through interventions and instruments. Sometimes it works through what we transmit, and most of it is without knowing. It's shown to change the psychosomatic response of the body, and it forms the basis of all support groups. So let's touch upon a few aspects of why support groups work. They've been proven to work across various aspects of human behavior, whether it be Alcoholic Anonymous or a support group for new mothers trying to establish breastfeeding for their young ones, or something as serious as cancer survivor group. Normalization of experience. People stop feeling abnormal. The narrative shifts from why me to it's not just me. It reduces the shame and isolation that comes with the disease. It validates your emotion. Right here, you can start to build a good compliant coping mechanism that will last. This itself decreases depressive tendencies. Social proof and hope. Seeing someone else further along the same journey matters. Real life role models are more powerful than advice. If they manage to do it, so can I. That kind of creates realistic optimism. Hope doesn't remain theoretical anymore, it becomes very, very credible. Meaning making. Human beings don't just seek recovery, they seek meaning. Sharing story reorganizes traumatic memory, it gives your pain context, and it makes sure that your suffering gains context as well. And so meaning making will always reduce long-term psychological disorder. Reciprocity. Helping others heals the helper. What does this do? Giving help is as important as receiving it. It rebuilds your identity and hence gives you a sense of purpose. The patient's narrative shifts from being the victim to being a contributor. And last but not the least, psychological stress reduction. Loneliness always worsens outcome. We've seen that in COVID. All of us have experienced that. All of us have lived that. Connections will always improve your immune modulation. It will reduce your cortisol level and in turn, your response to the entire disease. Now, many of you might feel that, am I even ready to feel such overwhelming feelings? Do I really need this in my life? Especially in high stress professions, feeling no feelings at all or making sure you feel emotionally distant might be a survival tactic of some sort. But that slowly erodes meaning, it slowly erodes purpose, and that's how you end up in an existential crisis. So I urge you all to let yourself feel things, okay? And these are the things you can remember. Compassion should come with boundary. Caring deeply should also come without burning out. Empathy should come without emotional flooding, and kindness should come without false hope. Now, does being empathetic make your lives better? No. Does being more compassionate benefit you directly? Not necessarily. But the world needs you to be that person. Now, after I hugged Diamond Paji, I asked him, how did you manage to fix my car so quickly? You know what he said? I got somebody to move parts from a different place. I got my entire team to work night in and day. I got all hands on deck because I simply couldn't see my own people in a different country in distress, and I wanted you to go back home not feeling the burden of this incident. Diamond Paji touched our hearts forever and left an impact that we'll never forget. And isn't the richest life the one where you can leave an impact? I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe we should all try and be more like Diamond Paji after all. Thank you.